So the fingerprint of God is in all creation. He's telling us that his fingerprint is all in creation. So the Father brought the Son out of him in eternity's past. And the Son now created creation. So finding himself as a man, when he became a man, he was manifested as a man. God manifested in the flesh, was seen by angels. So finding himself as a man, he humbled himself even unto the death on the cross. And in the physical form now, he was resurrected by the Spirit of the Father, and he ascended to heaven in bodily form. Now, that Jesus, that was the Word of God in eternity, that was God the Son in eternity, is now become a man, full flesh and blood, and is returning to heaven as full flesh and blood. So when he now came to heaven as full flesh and blood, God said, all things are yours, my son. You've always existed with me. Now you've come back to exist with me, but with flesh and blood on you. So even though you are in the form of flesh and blood because of mankind, because of you and me, he had to be in the form of flesh and blood forever because of us. He wasn't always in the form of flesh and blood, but because we sinned, he had to be like us to be our high priest forever. He had to take on flesh and blood because we have flesh and blood. So in flesh and blood, he went back to heaven with flesh and blood and put his blood on the altar. And the Father said it's accepted. So anybody that now comes through Jesus is accepted to the Father. Because it was through Jesus that the Father created all things. So you need to go back to the Father through Jesus, because you came through Jesus, and he wasn't called Jesus then, so let's not misconstrue it. He wasn't called Jesus then in eternities. But because he became a man, he had to identify with you and I and have a name called Jesus that we can identify with. So when we now have the name Jesus, the Father now said, yes, this is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased. And the Father has said that a number of times in the Gospels. You will hear the Father's voice and say, this is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased. So because he became a man, the Father now said that name Jesus is like no other name, because that name is a name above every other name. At that name, angels, demons, whatever is in eternity, whatever is in space, whatever is on earth, in the sea, under the earth, wherever they are, they must bow. Not even to the glory of Jesus, but to the glory of the Father. That's what the Father is trying to say. That's what the gospel is. That God in eternity brought out his Son from him as an offspring. The word Father means progenitor. It means the source. The word Son means offspring. The word Son means heir, owner, Lord. So that's why the Bible refers to Jesus as Lord. It's not just Lord because you guys are trying to put a title on his name. It's Lord because he owns all things. So when you have this understanding now, it's a game changer. Jesus is not Lord because he's trying to do religion and do all this stuff. No, he's not Lord because of that. He's Lord because he owns all things.
Remarkable